You know, experts would have us think that what we really need in life is a master plan. So those experts tell us that we should have a really well thought out, approved plan that we then implement every single day to get us from point A to point B. Well, here's what I find happens with a master plan. When I have this master plan that has to be implemented every day, what it does is it forces me into resisting any type of change because I have to stick to the master plan. And if I resist that change, what am I really trying to do? I'm trying to make everything be as comfortable and well thought out as it can be. And I don't know about you, but the world just really doesn't work that way, does it? I think there's two things that we can really control. I can control what I think about, and I can control what I do. Beyond that, things that are outside my control, if I'm resisting them, I'm really just causing a whole bunch of frustration. That really means that with my master plan, what I'm trying to do is maintain the status quo. And the status quo is going to lead me to, first of all, stagnation, because I don't want to do anything that's outside of that master plan. That also means that I'm going to miss out on opportunities in life. And it makes me irrelevant because, like it or not, everything around me is changing. I need to change with it and get on with things. That leads to decline. And over time, it becomes monotonous to try and keep working with that plan when everything around me is changing. So I have a suggestion. If you have a master plan and it's all thought out and well done, get rid of that master plan and realize that as we age, we have a superpower. And that superpower is something that our experts really don't tell us anything about because they keep pushing this idea of having a master plan. And I think our superpower is our ability to adapt. We are adaptation machines. Put us into a different environment, we adapt over time. Now, it's not instantaneous and it's not always comfortable to adapt, but we adapt and then we move on. Change the environment again, we adapt to that. You go outside today and the sun is out and it's nice and warm, you dress accordingly. You go out tomorrow and it's raining, you put on a rain jacket. We adapt. That's what we're here for. Now, adapting means that we just do nothing more than adjust to what's changing around us. That's what we're all about. That means any environment that you put me in, I can adapt to it. But what happens if I go into a different environment, but I think that I have to keep working with this master plan? Well, then frustration grows, and I resist the change that's coming about because it should be going according to my master plan. Throw that out the window and let's get on to adjusting and adapting to what's going on. Also, and I love this idea, if I'm in a different environment and if I'm going to adjust and I'm going to adapt because I really don't have any other choice other than to do that, then I'm going to make mistakes. But you make a mistake, you learn from the mistake, and you move on. That is our aging superpower. And I think the more we embrace that, and the faster we move away from this idea that everything should remain as it is, it's a great idea to think, yeah, I just wish every day would be the same, but they're not. So what do? Adapt. And once I start adapting now, I'm going to see things change in my life. I was out on a bicycle ride over the weekend on my favorite trail, got to a certain point in the trail, and the trail was blocked off because the county was doing some work on the trail. So what do you do at that point? You adapt. You find a way around it, and then you keep on going. You can't just stop and say, well, this wasn't part of my master plan, so now I'm just going to stop and sit here. No, we adapt. Now, I think we all realize that, but here's what I know. The people who understand this superpower are some of the most engaged, vibrant people because they continue to learn. And what they continue to learn to do is this: they learn to reinvent themselves. The person I am today was not the person I was 20 years ago. The person I'm going to be tomorrow or next week is going to change, and I'm going to be adapting right with it. Now, the more I adapt that as a new mindset, the more comfortable change becomes. But if I think change is bad and change shouldn't happen and why can't things just remain the same, I'm just going to become frustrated, stagnated, missing out, irrelevant, declining, and monotonous. That's just another way of saying a boring senior citizen. I have no interest in doing that. When we reinvent ourselves, we learn. We learn from our mistakes over here, and that gives me the opportunity to experiment. I can get out and try new things. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, you abandon it and you go on. And I think that is really our superpower at its core. Reinventing ourselves through adapting to what's happening in my environment. Now, in one of my other videos, what I talked about was this secret. And we all know this to be true, I think, that muscle will keep you young, feeling young, moving young. Lack of muscle does the opposite. Strength keeps me independent. It allows me to get up and down. It allows me to move from point A to point B. It allows me to carry heavy things. If this is the secret to what we should be doing, then my suggestion is this: we need to get on with adapting and adapting in a hurry. We need to start putting things into our lives that allow us to increase that muscle mass, or at least maintain it, and increase our strength, because this is going to allow us to be independent and young. The younger you think, the younger you feel, the more likely you are to want to adapt, to experiment, to try new things, to make mistakes, and we keep moving on because the world is moving and we're designed to move with it. So speaking of master plans, let's take a different look at time and our lives. Now, if you don't have one of these charts, I would really recommend you get one and start using it. This is a calendar of my life, and it starts up here at the top at week 1. Going this way is the number of weeks in the year, so there's 2 different groups, 26 weeks each. And then going down this axis is the number of years in my life. So it starts off at year 0, and this one goes up to year 88. Now, what I've done is I have marked out the years that I have already lived, and what this shows me is right now I am right here. Now, if I'm lucky enough to make it to 88 down here, this shows me how much time I have left in life. Now, I don't know about you, but this is a pretty sobering thing to start to look at when you realize this much of it has already gone by, and this much of it, if I make it to 88, remains. Now, I don't know about you, but at day 1 of my life, I didn't have a master plan. And that master plan just didn't play out exactly the way it was supposed to be for the last 76 years. So this idea up here went out the window on day 1. And what started to happen on day 1 was I started adapting. And I adapted, we all have adapted all the time as we are moving through our lives. But what this really points out to me is this: we all have a number of things that we can get accomplished and that we should be looking forward to doing, and I would call those items adventures. And those adventures now need to take place in this period of time. So what are the adventures that I want to take on? What are the adventures that I can start doing today and start adapting to what's happening out there around me? That means I am fulfilling and living out my life as an engaged, on-purpose person. By the way, if you've worked on your purpose statement and you have that ready to go, that means I'm going to implement that purpose right here. Earlier in my life, I had a different purpose that was going on. And I've gone through and I've just circled a couple of the really big events in my life. Not every event, but just a couple big ones. Like the first time I broke my arm and had it in a cast. When I got my driver's license. The first time I tried out retirement and that didn't work out so well for me. The second time I tried out retirement went much better the second time around because I learned this secret. You have to adapt. So the world keeps on moving, the world keeps on changing. We are designed to change and adapt to those changes as we go along. Time to get busy because I don't have a heck of a lot of time left to do that.